be around, I would request our co-panelist Manali Chheda to share her insights on. She has a lot of research insights and experience with Larsen and Toubro, and part of a financial advisory research team with Big Four. Manali has a lot of critical issues, experiences. Please share your experience, and then I would request Sandeep Bhatt to be ready to share a few slides you have prepared. And then we have an open house. All participants, all panelists can address any issue. We have lots of participants who are CXOs, vice presidents, CFOs, and with good domain knowledge in practically all sectors. So we'll have an open house. There could be interaction, there could be sharing of latest developments or any issues which all the panelists would love to address.
Yeah.
Thanks, Manojji. I'll just share a few insights on a research report that was conducted by EY. This was based on study of the corporate results of a few companies across different sectors and what has been the impact of COVID on the results of these companies. So around 12 sectors have been considered here and 155 companies. So the most impacted sector due to COVID has been aviation, which has the highest impact of around 90% reduction in revenue and almost a 700% reduction in profit after tax. So revenue reduction was because of the restrictions on international travel as well as domestic travel. At least during the first 2 months, it was a complete close down. And the EBITDA has dropped like almost 700%. That is because of, they had very high operational costs, depreciation and finance costs, and they also have to pay lease. They have lease obligations in foreign currencies. So that has, led to a lot of impact in this sector. Then the second is advanced manufacturing and automotive sector. They have, around a 30 to 35% drop in revenue, and the EBITDA drop is slightly higher than that. That is again due to, there are some fixed depreciation and finance costs and certain fixed operational expenditure, because of which their EBITDA is, dropped around 40 to 45%. Whereas the drop in revenue is mainly because of the shutdown in the initial 2 months. And now the sector has started picking up, but this research mainly takes into account the June results as compared to the March results. Then coming to consumer products and retail, this has two parts. One is FMCG and the second part is the retail sector. So FMCG has not seen that much of an impact. At least, they have hardly seen a 10 to 15% decline in their revenue and EBITDA. However, the retail sector has been impacted almost say 25% drop in revenue. And they have seen almost a 45% reduction in EBITDA because of, fixed rentals, and the rental expenditure is very high in case of retail companies. So their fixed expenditure in terms of rent, depreciation and interest cost has led to a decline in EBITDA of around 45 to 50%. Although the decline in revenue is only 25%. Then life sciences is one sector which has seen a positive impact during this period. They have seen...
Manali, can I interrupt you for a second? See, depreciation is a cost that would come after EBITDA. So how is the depreciation impacting the EBITDA?
Sorry. So I meant profit after tax. So they have seen, what I meant is, even though the revenue decline may be 25%, but they have seen a much higher decline in their profit after tax because of all these fixed costs.
Yeah, because the depreciation will not have any impact on the EBITDA.
Yeah. Sorry. So I was talking about life sciences. They have seen around a 6% increase in revenue, whereas a 30% increase in profitability, like the profit after tax. That is because of some operational efficiencies in case of a few companies, and also because of launch of new products which are yielding higher margins. Then even the power sector, like they have seen a slight decline in their revenue, like around a 6% decline in revenue, but there's a positive impact on their EBITDA as well as profit after tax. Because of some, their operational costs have reduced. Like some fixed costs in these companies have come down due to the pandemic, and that's how they're showing a 50% increase in their profit after tax. Then real estate and infrastructure, again, they have like a 40% decline in revenue, and as we just saw in the previous presentation, like there are a lot of stalled projects.
Sorry, Manali, for interrupting you once again. You said that the fixed cost has gone down because of pandemic.
Yeah, because of the lockdown, there are certain expenses which are not being incurred, and there is some savings in the transmission costs as well. Like I went through a few annual reports, but what I saw is some reduction in fixed costs, and mainly there are some savings in transmission expenses as well.
Because we would address all the issues in the open house, because I would request Manali to finish the critical issues, and Sandeep is waiting to share the slides, and we'll address all the issues in the chat also, and by participants in the open house.
So Pramod, just one thing I want to highlight, that what happens that when you go and look into a long-term business project, all your fixed cost becomes a variable cost. So in that situation, I have seen that there are a lot of companies, they have like which had been their fixed expenditure has reduced because of this, because the extra capacity what you were using, you're not currently using it. So that reduces the cost. Go ahead, Manali. Yeah.
Thanks, Aditya, for the clarification. So real estate and infrastructure sector. So there is, because of the 115 revenue standard, now, they have to, like the percentage of completion method is not very widely used in this sector now. And due to stalled projects, there is a delay in the revenue recognition, and also the demand has slowed down, as well as price. There is a slight drop in prices as well, which has led to a decrease in revenue and also a decrease in the profit after tax. Then the services sector, again, it was very badly impacted in the initial like the entire first quarter, because of which their revenue has dropped by 50%, and their EBITDA has almost dropped by like 100%, EBITDA as well as profit after tax. Like they in the service industry, it is mostly they have a very high fixed cost, which in which they are not able to achieve those savings in costs, because of which their margins have been impacted a lot. Then telecom sector has seen a very minor impact, like both in revenue as well as net profit. So telecom is not much impacted. It is hardly a 4 to 5% impact. Then technology and media, again, like not much affected. In fact, there is a slight positive impact on their net profits. That is also again due to some savings in fixed costs. And the oil and gas sector, they have in the March quarter, they had a lot of write-downs due to the drop in oil prices globally. And in the June quarter, all those reversals have come in the June quarter. But if we keep that aside, operationally, even they are impacted. Like there is a slight reduction in demand, and they have also seen a decline in their net profits. Then metals, mining and commodities. Even this sector has seen about a 25% decline in revenues as well as net profits. This is all again because of close down of most industries. The demand was low in this sector as well. Then as part of this research report, there is also a study on there has been a capital infusion in some companies by promoters, and there was also a notification, or I would say there was a amendment in the SEBI regulations for when promoters increase their stake in a company. Normally, if they buy a 5% stake, 5% increase in stake, it leads to a they are obliged to give an open offer, but that threshold has been increased to 10%, and there has been capital infusion in a few sectors as well because of increase in promoter capital. And this was mainly to a lot of companies were facing cash flow issues, and they were falling short of cash to in order to run their day-to-day operations as well. So there was there has been capital infusion in a lot of sectors. Then this last point, there has been an emphasis of matter in the audit report for 71 companies out of the 155 companies that they've studied. And there has been qualified conclusions in 8 companies. Some of which are going concern matters, some of which are, litigation matters, which are having a very huge impact on the survival of the company. So yeah, that was a brief insight on this research which was conducted by EY on corporate results.
Thanks, Manali. I think that was good. Like you have put up all the summary of what it is there. Thanks so much for that.